everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is Train Talks, and I'm your host, Trina. So before we get started with today's episode, I just want to say a couple things, come on here and talk a little bit, because it is Trina Talks after all. So what would it be if I didn't say some random things before we start the episode? First off, I am pre-recording these episodes, so for me, it is currently August 3rd. Crazy that's August. When this goes up, it is like mid-October, and I go back to school in 2 weeks, which is insane. I'm gonna be a sophomore, also insane. You know what, just my life kind of feels insane right now is basically what I'm trying to say, and that fits very well with the topic of today's episode, which is dealing with change. So I'm very much a person who loves stability. I didn't really care for change before. Like, if I had the smallest change in my life, I would freak out. Don't get me wrong, still have my freakouts. I just learned how to control them a little bit better and kind of change my mindset a little bit on change. I know it's a very common thing to struggle with change, so I thought that by coming on here and talking about how I deal with it and kind of my experience with it, maybe I could help some of you guys out if you have a lot of changes going on in your life, because I know right now it's like a big period of change for people. The fall time always is. Maybe some of you guys are like beginning to be like halfway through your first semester of college or halfway through your first semester of high school. Whatever it is, everybody goes through periods of change in their life, and it can get kind of crazy, kind of hectic, kind of scary. So I'm here to tell you my experience and help you guys out a little bit. So like I said, I never liked change when I was younger. Like, I hated it, and as I've grown up, I've actually begun to like change. Like, sometimes it still scares me. Change is definitely scary, but I've begun to like kind of embrace it instead of looking at it in the way of like, oh my god, change is so scary and like, how am I gonna do this, or like, I don't like this, or this feels wrong. I look at it in the way of, this is an opportunity, this is an experience, this is something new. I get to try something new. By trying something new, you get to grow as a person, which is so cool. And you should always want to keep growing, keep learning, and change is perfect for that. It gives you an easy opportunity to keep learning, keep growing, and keep doing better. So for example, some things have changed that have happened in my life is, if you guys don't know, I was actually online schooled my entire life. And when I went to college, that was my first time ever stepping foot into college, ever stepping foot in a public school, ever being like around that many of my peers, to be honest. And that was a huge change for me. Like, I remember feeling very overwhelmed, as I think a lot of people do when they go to college. But imagine being somebody who has never been in a public school setting and never been around that many of their peers. Kind of terrifying. I try to look at it as a way of like, okay, this is cool. Like, I get an opportunity to be surrounded by a bunch of people my age. We have similar interests, we have similar experiences, and I get the opportunity to go around and make friends with any of these people that I want to be friends with. I can go talk to anybody I want to talk with. And that was a very big difference for me from being online schooled, because being online schooled, I didn't really have other people to go talk to, and the people that I did, they weren't even like my age sometimes, or we didn't have anything in common, but these people did. And so I took that and I was like, this could be really cool. I could go make some friends. And I did. I made some amazing friends because I put myself out there and I embraced that change. And I know that's so much easier said than done. Like, I'm aware of that, but just next time, like, try to change your mindset on it. Like, if you are just entering high school, let's say, and you're scared of the change of teachers, the change of classes, the change of students, the change of how much homework you have, whatever it may be, just know that's going to be okay. At the end of the day, everything's okay. You are going to be okay. So put that in your head first. I want you to repeat that to yourself. Everything's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Okay, cool. We got that. So the other thing that goes along with that is basically, you're going to keep growing. You're going to grow as a person. Any of those changes in your life are going to have an effect on you in one way or another. You can take that effect on your life however you want. Let's say that you have something maybe consider bad happen to you. There's always something good in there, and just look for that and take that and embrace it. Let's say that your change that you're scared of is how much homework you're gonna have, right? You're gonna have more homework this year, because let's say you're going to your junior year of high school. That's a year that you have a lot more homework. Instead of using that mindset of being like, I have so much homework, like, how am I gonna do this? This is so stressful, I don't have the time. Think about it as a way of, I get to learn a lot more this year. I get to learn about what I want to learn about. I get to learn useful stuff that I'm gonna use one day. Whatever it is, don't get me wrong, there's some stuff that definitely isn't useful in school, I'm aware, but some of that stuff is very useful, especially if you get to take classes that you actually want to take. Let's say you love art and you get to take an art class. You might have a lot of homework, but you are doing what you love and you're getting to learn about what you love, and that's so cool. So if you're someone who struggles with change, just try to like think about that. Think about the way that it is going to impact you, and it can have a positive impact on you, it can have a negative impact on you, but try to only let it have a positive impact on you. Look for that piece of positivity in every change that you get, because change can be overwhelming, it can be scary, whatever it is. But you're also never alone. You always have somebody, whether it's a friend, a family member, a pet, whatever it is, you are not alone, and that is a big thing. Like, change can make you feel very alone, lonely, scared, anxious, but by having somebody there for you, someone to talk to, maybe you have a friend who's going through the same changes as you, maybe you guys are going to high school together, maybe you're going to college together, and that makes it so much easier because you have someone who can relate to that. Just like going back to what I was saying about how I was like scared to go to college, but I was surrounded by people who are all going through the same thing. It's just like that. Like, you are all doing the same thing. You all have those same thoughts going on in your head. So if you talk about it, chances are you're going to feel better, and you can make those people feel better too. Sometimes that's all we need. We need to talk it through with somebody. And maybe some people don't even realize that they need that until somebody comes up and talks to you and you're like, wow, that made me feel so much better. I really need to talk about that. And that was me. Like, I remember feeling overwhelmed and stuff, but I had nobody to talk about it with until I met my best friend and we started talking about it, and I was like, wow, this feels really good to know that I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one scared of these changes. I'm not the only one having a hard time making friends. Whatever it was that I was going through at the time, to know I wasn't doing it alone made me feel instantly 10 times better. That had nothing to do with the change even. That was like a side effect of the change. Knowing that somebody else was going through that makes you feel so much less lonely. And if you aren't lonely when you're going through those changes, it is going to be 10 times easier on you. So please, if you have somebody, like I said, it can be a family member, it can be a friend, it could be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a pet, whatever it is, lean on them. Take that time to really use their help and be like, you know what, I'm kind of having a hard time right now. I could use your help. I could use your company a little bit more. Could you help me talk this out? Could you help me figure this out? Whatever it is, they're there for you. They love you. They're there for you, and they want to help you. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask somebody if you can just talk to them. Even sometimes people might not have advice for us, but they're there to listen, right? Like, sometimes, let's say that you've never been in a relationship and your friend comes and asks you for advice on a relationship. You've never been in one. You might not have advice, but you can sit there and listen. You can sit there and listen to their problems. You can sit there and try to help them to the best of your ability. It might not be the most helpful thing, but them knowing that you were there for them makes the biggest difference, because they know that you care, they know that you love them, and they know that you took your time, and time is very valuable, to be there for them, to show up for them, and try to help them. So even if you're not going through changes right now, if you know someone who is, try to be there for them the best that you can, because it makes a world of a difference, trust me. It can be simple things. You can shoot them a text message and be like, hey, I'm thinking of you, if you want to talk at all, whatever, if you want to hang out, I'm here. You could call them, same thing, be like, hey, I just want to check up on you, how are you doing? Let them talk. Or you could just give them advice. If you see they're struggling with something, just be like, hey, I've been in this situation before, and I don't know if you need advice, but here's my advice, and if it helps you out, great. If not, that's okay. I just wanted you to know that I've been through this and I can help you if you need my help. So that was my little advice, my little rant session on change, because change is terrifying. Especially a big thing like going to high school, going to college, getting a new job maybe, getting a raise, moving houses. That's gotta be scary. I've never done it, but I bet that's scary because you're moving to a whole new place with all new people. And I just look at it as those are all opportunities. You get an opportunity. Whatever your changes, you are surrounded by new things, new people, new experiences, and that shapes you as a person. So take that and use it to the best of your ability to benefit you in whatever way that means to you, whatever feels best to you, however you can do that, however you're capable of it, take it and use it, because you gotta go through the change anyways. So you might as well embrace it, might as well learn from it, get experiences, maybe make some friends, maybe meet some cool new people. You never know what's gonna come from it. So don't be scared of that change next time. I mean, it's normal to be a little scared, but don't let it overwhelm you. Don't let your anxiety take over. Don't let those thoughts flood into your brain, because you are going to be fine. You got this. Whatever life throws at you, I know that you got it. You're capable of doing it, and you're gonna be okay. I feel like that's something I really need to hear. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, wow, I needed this. Like, I feel like this entire summer, I needed to hear that. And I know that now that I'm back to school, when this episode comes out, like, I'm probably grateful that I'm embracing the change of whatever this year holds for me. Because my thoughts have definitely been a little overwhelming, and my anxiety takes over sometimes. And sometimes I forget to just breathe and be like, you are okay. Everything is gonna be okay. You might not see it right now. It might be hard to see. But later you're gonna realize and be like, wow, I was so scared for nothing. I was so worried. I was so anxious. Like, I'm okay. Everything's okay. Everything worked out. So next time, have a little trust. And whatever it is, have a little trust in yourself. So this episode was a little bit shorter, but I feel like overall my podcast episodes are gonna be a little short. Hope you guys are cool with that. This podcast is simply just for me to talk and have fun. So I'm not really looking to meet a certain criteria or anything. So I know it's shorter episodes, but I hope you guys still enjoyed it. I hope to help some of you out. Like I said, you got this. I'm proud of you and I love you. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.